Well, it's been a while, but we are back. And how good is it? Punt Pals Podcast. I'm Robbie Vaughn. This is Nick Ristovic. My friend, it has been a little while because we've been on hiatus, but we're back. We're going to get better again. How are you, sir?
Good, mate. The people have been rioting in the streets at racetracks, AFL grounds, waiting for the Punt Pals to come back. So we've finally managed to make it happen, and we're getting to the business end of the season, mate. So we're just sort of building now as we head towards the finals there in AFL, mate.
We really are. It was round 18 last night, or the start of round 18 last night. So that is unbelievable. I sort of think back to when I went to Gather Round in round 4, I believe it was, and my God, that feels like a long time ago now. The season just really starts scooting along, doesn't it?
It does, mate. And a few teams hitting flat spots mid-year before we sort of get into the business of this podcast a bit later on. And then some teams sort of hitting their straps like the Brizzy Lions as the business end of the season approaches. Quick funny story for you. The other night I was doing a bit of fishing down at North Mole, as I normally do.
Yeah.
And this guy comes over and starts talking to us. He's a chaplain for a local community charity in Fremantle.
Right.
And he says, so what do you guys do? I said, look, I work in sports and racing. He goes, oh, you like a punt? I said, yeah, I love a punt. He goes, oh, I actually love a punt too. Don't tell anyone that. I'm thinking chaplain loves a punt. Like, surely that's against the morals of the church.
I would have thought so.
He goes, I just get tips from podcasts, and then just throws the Punt Pals podcast out there.
No.
I said, oh, funny that, mate, because, I'm on the Punt Pals podcast. He's like, you haven't been around for a while, though. What's going on? Starts getting stuck into me. So there you go. Random Punt Pals podcast story for you there, mate.
Well, that's good to hear, and I'm glad we're even popular with the church, which makes sense.
Infiltrated the church. We appeal to all audiences, and good reason to be back, isn't it? Because bloody hell, mate, there's a lot to go over. No.
There's a lot to go over, and it's amazing who you meet when you go fishing, Nick. That's just something that blows my mind in itself, to be completely fair.
Yeah, I know.
What else has been going on in your world? Perth racing zinging along. We had a few brewskis there a couple of Saturdays ago. There, you showed me the facilities. My God, It's good out there. Bravo.
Yeah, it is, mate. And as I said on SEN, I've sort of timed my run absolutely beautifully to arrive at Perth Racing after the renovations have finished at Belmont. It wasn't a condition of employment to have the money put into it, but anyway, many joking about that. But no, look, just been flat out, buddy. I think major life changes for you and I in the way of work at the moment. I know you've had a bit of it going on yourself. Dad life's creeping up. We're going on sale for the carnival in less than 5 days here for the Ascot Racing Carnival. Would you believe it? It's only 13 weeks away.
What?
And so, yeah, mate, as I said on radio, busier than a one-armed bricklayer in Baghdad at the moment, mate.
Love it. And
what about
you would have
brother?
been... Mate, it's been all systems go over here. As you know, I was at Triple M doing the Brekkie show due to some budgetary cuts and cuts from the head office. I have left the show now. I sadly got made redundant and we've been networked out. So that was about 3 weeks ago, and I've just been living a life of leisure ever since, mate. I haven't got to the golf course as often as you would think, but I've been getting a bit of stuff done.
Mate, if you think people writing after the Punt Pals podcast hiatus, have a look at the Facebook comments on the Robbie and Carly page on Facebook if you like a bit of entertainment. Haven't they been fruity? The fans are not happy, Robbie, after the show's been shelved. But I hear whispers you've moved on to some bigger and better things, mate. I believe you might be calling a few things at the West Coast Eagles game. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. So, I've done a few things, actually, Nico. I won't get into too much self-promotion here, but I've started up at Nova as a casual, which is awesome. So I'll be doing some on-air shifts there. And last Friday, Adelaide came across to WA to take on the West Coast Eagles, the team that you don't go for. And I was the ground announcer there. It was a really fun gig, actually, mate. There is a real power in having your voice just ruminate across Optus Stadium. It's quite cool.
What's it like seeing a bit of me time on the big screen there, mate?
Well, unfortunately, they didn't put my face on the big screen, which is disappointing. It was just my voice going around. The voice of God, they call it. And boy, oh boy, did I try and live up to that.
No doubt, mate. Well, they're missing your best asset there. I know you've been on radio, mate, but to get your head up on the big screen there wouldn't be a bad thing for them, I imagine.
Oh, it'd be very nice, mate. I endorse that. I don't know if they endorse that so much, but that's all right. Mate, you must be basking in the glow of last night. Let's get into some footy because the Freo Dockers pulled off one of the most amazing achievements, not kicking a goal up until halftime. We thought they were cooked. They come out and score over 100 points in the second half. You're a Freo Dockers tragic. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster to your point, Robbie. I guess we coming off a pretty sluggish game last weekend against GWS, 5-day break, and it certainly looked like the Dockers were sluggish early. They came out of the blocks, and despite the scoreline, you felt like they were in the game, just not converting those opportunities in front of goal. And to see them $3 as a live bet head-to-head option at half-time, I just wanted to absolutely pile into that, knowing that the Dockers just needed to kick straight to remain in the game. And to your point, mate, they did exactly what they did to North Melbourne down in Bunbury. They piled on 100 points in the second half, to your point, big fella, but 7 unanswered goals in a 14-minute burst. It was pretty exciting to watch as a Freo fan, and the crowd really got around them, didn't they?
They really got around him. I wish I was there to see it in person. My wife Alana was there actually, but watching it on TV, you could feel the energy just coming through the screen, man. Like Freo Dockers supporters were going ballistic, as you can imagine. And I seriously wish I was there at the end of the game because I think the crowd would have just erupted. It would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, I was a bit of FOMO at home for sure, mate, when they started getting back into it and you could hear the crowd going nuts and the commentators on the broadcast talking about how loud it was there in the stadium. Certainly felt that bit of FOMO. But, that's how the game rolls. I think most exciting part is Freo just seem to have some gears, don't they? They can really lock down and retain possession when they need to and milk clock. And then they just switch into this sort of turbo mode where they have that forward hand pass game off half back that is catching a lot of teams out, including Sydney, who have that same modus operandi with that forward hand pass game. So very exciting to see. And I think a lot of Freo fans would have been walking home in the rain last night pretty pumped, eh?
I think they would have been. And most importantly, you talk about those different gears that they were able to find. I think most teams at halftime would have dropped the bundle. You don't kick a goal for the first 2 quarters of footy. You're still in it to a degree, but it would be easy to get down. It would be easy to sort of lose the morale and just let this game go. But they took the other road. They really surprised Sydney, I think. I don't think the Swans would have thought that would have been the result coming out of halftime. And you could just see it as soon as that first bounce happened. I think it was it Murphy Reid who kicked that first goal?
Yeah, I think it was Reid out of the middle, maybe.
Just electrified.
Yeah, it did. That one from maybe Jordan Clark, maybe running bounce.
Oh, it was Clark, yeah. Out of the centre, unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think probably to your point exactly, mate, everyone talks about Justin Longmuir being a pretty kind of calm, lackadaisical kind of coach, doesn't really get too emotional, but they're the kind of games where it calls for calm. At halftime, you're sort of in the game without realising you're just not kicking straight. So 11 points at halftime, to your point, could be perceived as, geez, we're going pretty shocking here. I think the glass half full approach of the leaders in Longmuir, Brayshaw spoke on the radio, on broadcast halftime saying, hey, we're in this game. The message is continue doing what we're doing, following the process, as boring as it is. We'll eventually turn this around. And then sure enough, they started to win that territory game. That early goal got them up and about, and suddenly the floodgates opened, didn't they? And I think that's the maturity in Freo versus 2 years ago. They would have dropped their bundle. They probably would have got belted by 50 in the second half. But that calm head and those leaders in that team now seem to really make sure they get the job done in the stretch. And they've won a lot of games under 10 points this year, which to me shows they're coming along in leaps and bounds.
I want to play a little bit of a game with you now. So basically, we saw the 3 big boys from Freo really step up last night. Josh Tracy in the end kicked 4 goals for. He was wayward in the first half, but he really came back through. Paddy Voss kicked 3, Amos kicked 2. So you've got all your big boys firing. Then you've got blokes like Jackson and Cox who can run through. But we're not talking about them today. We're talking about the Triple Towers. Now, I thought we'd go through an exercise where we're going to rate them from 3 to 1. And I know this could be difficult for you right now. Maybe I've got a little bit more of a broader view of this. But I thought we'll go third, then we'll go second, then we'll go first of how we rate these 3 forwards. Do you think, with your purple blood, you can split them? That's the big question first up.
Oh, I've got some unconscious bias there, mate, but I think I can sort of get out of the purple jumper and have a little look at it from the external perspective, mate.
All right, well, let's start with number 3. And this isn't based on just last night's performances. This is an overarching look at these 3 forwards. So if you were going to rank them 3 to 1, where would you put your number 3? Or who would you put there at number 3?
I'm probably going to have, and this pains me to say because he is also from the same hometown as me, but I'm going to have Jai Amos in 3. I think if you look at a season holistically, Robbie, started pretty poorly, had some big games, sort of, third of the way through the season and has kicked multiple bags, but generally gets that third defender. So I don't think he's carrying as much pressure as the likes of Tracy and Voss there. And plays an important role, but is a role player for them rather than a game winner for mine.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, mate? Who have you got in third?
I've got to admit, mate, and I thought you might have gone the other way, to be completely fair. I thought you might have put Amos in at second, but, mate, I have to go the same way. I love Jai Amos. He is an absolute gun. The shoulders on that boy and the arms have just grown exponentially over the last year. I think he had a bit of time out of the game and he spent the whole duration of it in the gym. So he's a big boy. He's looking like he could be very dominant over the next couple of years. But same as you, I'm going to put him in at third because I just think he's a little bit more inconsistent in front of goals. He can tear a game apart, but he doesn't do it as often in front of the big sticks as what we'd like to see. Yeah,
I think so. And I think when you have seen him bob up and kick 4 or 5, it's when he plays a back line that doesn't have much depth. So the big 2 dogs will sort of get taken up by the first 2 key defenders, and then he gets the third best back, tall, and he can generally expose them because he's quite quick off the lead, Amos. I think that's his key. So he's playing a bigger role. I think he's so young too, mate. So we're harsh putting him in third, but he's still probably got a good 15 years of footy left in him. So, he's still an important part of the parcel there in their lead to the finals, mate.
Yep. All right. Let's go to number 2 then. So we've got Vossi and Tracy left. How are you going to rank them? That's the big question. So coming in at number 2, who are you running there today?
Oof, this is really tough. They're both, Tracy and Voss, have had patches where they've kind of one shine and the other's been a role player. I'm going to put Paddy Voss in number 2. And it was tough because I think when I look at Voss, I think about him as a defensive forward. He goes to the likes of Toby Green. He goes to the likes of Harris Andrews and does the job so the other guys can flourish. So that was heavily weighing into my kind of decision here. But I think Voss, he makes the most of his limited opportunities. He's a fire starter. He gets the energy going. As you know, he's a prancing pony for a reason. But I think he lacks the contested marking ability of Tracy and that leadership across the field, which I rate very highly. So he's a photo finish second in horse terms, mate.
Love that. All right, so when it comes to 1 and 2, I have thought about this a lot, and Josh Tracy is obviously that guy where you go, wow, he's the rock up there. He's going to kick 3 for you most weeks. He's pretty consistent in front of goal, and he takes a clamp of a mark. Those hands are brilliant. And I do believe that he could be the best of them, but I'm going to put him in number 2 at the moment. There, Risto.
Okay, see, with variety, mate.
Yeah, and the reason being here is that I look at Patrick Voss and I go, he's the prancing pony. As you said, he's the spark. He's the guy that lights things up. He's not afraid to get in a bit of a Barney. We saw it last week against Toby Green. You can name every single player that he's had a fight against in the last 10 weeks while Freo's been on this run, 14 weeks, whatever it is. And I tell you what, Paddy Voss, he's the guy who steps up. He's consistent. He has kicked 2+ goals in, I think it's 8 games in a row now. So he just keeps doing it every single week. You'll see him with his shirt ripped off. He's done that a couple of times now. I don't know. I just feel like he's the spark that gets everybody up and going. And going into halftime, you could see that he was pumped, he was ready, and the boys followed. So I'm going to rate it. Josh Tracy, then Patrick Voss.
Yeah, well, as I said, mate, it's very tough to make a call either way. And you can't argue with your logic. he was very happy to have that jersey ripped last night for a little bit longer than he probably should have too, wasn't he, with the old chesticles out there.
Took a long time to change it.
He did, and you can't blame him, really. I think he benches the most out of the whole entire club. And he's a remarkable story. It must be painful for you as an Essendon supporter to see him and his rise to prominence as a key forward without pretty much being on the AFL scrap heap over in Melbourne. So, yep, can't argue with that. The energy's there. He makes the most of his opportunities in front of goal as well, doesn't he? Rarely misses those sodas from 20 metres out that Tracy and Amos have missed a lot this year. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think the only thing I'd probably lean on the big kahuna, and he's probably why I split that photo finish I spoke about before, is just that bailout kick that Freo need up the ground down the line. Tracy's often that guy that can play that first link in the chain, and then they can sort of run off handball from there. So I think Voss and Amos aren't really that sort of type. So that's the only reason I'd sort of say Tracy's in front. But they've had a ding-dong battle all year in terms of who's the main man, haven't they? And they're very unselfish, those three forwards. So that's probably the best part about it. The mix can beat you. Any sort of mix can beat you on any given night.
To me, it looks like they're happy for one guy to be the king or the leader on any given night, as you say. Like they're not selfish from the point of view that it has to be me. They're happy for the other guy to have their time in the sun.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I think the other thing as well, you mentioned like it must be hard as an Essendon supporter to see it. Paddy Voss doing so well at the moment. But I do have a little bit of what could have been, but I think he had to leave the Bombers to get where he is because he's even admitted it himself. I've spoken to him on radio about this. He basically said, I was a bit of a loose cannon. I probably needed the wake-up call and having to go to another club as a rookie, because I'm pretty sure he was rookie listed there in the end, really gave me the shot in the arm that I needed. So now I'm in an environment that that actually sort of supports what I do. So I don't think he could have been what he is now at Essendon. So honestly, as much as I do have those thoughts sometimes, I don't think it would have been that way. So I'm very happy for him to do what he does at Freo. Yeah,
good shout. You've got the insight there from the interview. And absolutely. If it's been a change of scenery and a change of professionalism that's helped him get there, then you just got to be stoked for him, really, don't you? The one thing I would say about forward lines in general, and Freo is the same, is the whole dynamic around allowing a loose man to go back behind the footy that we've seen in prior years has really changed. I think you're now seeing and assessing a game as a punter when you look at Freo taking on the likes of Brisbane, for example. You'll see Paddy Voss almost play as a backman on Harris Andrews and not let him be that third man up and that loose man behind the ball, which he's been so dominant in multiple All-Australian as a loose defender and intercept marker. So I think it's really kind of interesting from a punting perspective when you go into a game thinking Paddy Voss has kicked 5 the week before. He's absolutely on fire. They play Brisbane. He's a lockdown key forward on Harris Andrews. If he kicks a couple and they expose him to the other way, then great. But he plays that team role, as you said before, and allows the other guys to flourish. And I think that's why those 3 tolls for Freo are so lethal, because they do fulfill multiple roles each week. Tracy will get up the ground, or if he's on early and dominant, they'll leave him close to goal. Amos will have the space at full forward at times and he'll bob up. So it makes it hard to find him from a punting perspective every week, and they often cook me. If I have Amos for 2 one week, he'll kick none, or he'll kick 4 the next week. But looking at those matchups, Vossi playing that defensive forward, or even Tracy if he needs to be, is probably why, again, they've taken that next leap up the ladder, because they were getting belted by those loose defenders in games gone by, Wiedering, Harris Andrews as examples.
And I'm just saying, after all that, everything that you've said there, mate, just get on Paddy Voss for 2. He does it every week. If you're punting, I'm shattered I missed it for this week's multi, to be completely fair.
Yes.
Now, mate, we're probably pretty short and sharp today just because we're getting back into it. So I thought maybe what we do is go into our multis for the week. So essentially, we're going to change it up a little bit. And rather than going through every single footy game, we're going to have a look at doing a multi for the weekend each. So we're going to put a little bit of a challenge out there. Have you had a bit of time to have a look at this, mate, and put something together?
I have, and probably the way I was thinking about approaching it this week is just looking at all of the clubs and games playing this weekend. Tonight looks like a really juicy, uncontested ball possession feast, and I'm talking about, of course, Collingwood versus the Roos tonight. Went through these 2 teams last week. I think Dacos had close to 50. Sheasel 40 plus. So it looks like a game where if you stretch those possession lines out a little bit, you're going to find some value. And I've got a 7-legger for tonight.
Yes.
Just to get us kicked off for the weekend, mate. And, we've been away for a while, so let's just dive straight in, mate.
Love this.
Nick Dacos. Don't worry about your 25s, mate. We're in for a juicy mould tonight, 30 plus against the Roos. They're not going to worry about tagging him. They don't have anyone that plays that role anyway, so just forget about it.
I love this. Him and Sheasel head-to-head.
Sheasel, 27 plus. A little bit less than Dacos, but he might go to halfback. He might be in the middle. Had 40 last week. Maybe they send someone to him like a Perryman or another sort of tighter midfielder, but he still have 27 easy. He just goes wherever he likes. Luke Parker, had about 28 last week. He's been 20 plus each week, but 23 plus for him off halfback. I think he'll be very busy trying to handle those Collingwood half forwards, and I think it will be played a lot in Collingwood's forward line, so that bodes well for him. Josh Dacos, he's been a 25 plus every week, but I looked at him last time he played the Roos. They did play a bit of a lockdown role in him in halfback with Parker. He'll probably have 22 plus, I reckon. Lucas Davies-Uniacke, 21 plus. McKercher, he's had a really good couple of weeks, 25, 26 possessions his last two, 20 plus for him. Degoe, 19 plus. And Cooper Harvey, the last leg, 24, 25 his last two games, coming off sort of 17, 18 the couple of weeks before. I'm going to have him 18 plus, and he's about $1.50, $1.60 for 20 plus at the moment, and he will be very busy off halfback. They've locked him in, starting to play consistent footy, and I think he's going to be one that offers the most value in the game. So $5.75 for that. So to quickly run over it again without all the logic to stretch it out, Nick Dacos 30 plus, Sheasel 27 plus, Parker 23 plus, Josh Dacos 22 plus, LDU 21 plus, McKercher 20 plus, Degoe 19 plus, Cooper Harvey 18 plus. All possessions, no goals, both shit forward lines. Don't worry about it.
Love it. And Cooper Harvey beef. I love him.
Yeah,
what a good young player. So love that, Nico. What was that paying again? What was the
$5.75, mate. In the hitting zone, $4 to $6. We love them there, don't we, mate?
Love it. That's great. Now, mate,
quickly, Robbie, before you go,
yeah.
You sent me, just so the punters feel a little bit of confidence in where you're going, you did send me one last night in the Freo game where you were pretty much having a beer at 3/4 time saluting. So you've been in good touch, mate.
Yes, mate. Last night, it was about a $3.50 payout there in the end. There was quite a few legs in it, but I went kind of low on possessions, but 3/4 time it was done. Thank you very much. $60 in the coffers. You can't say no to that.
Well, that's your bank builder, mate. Now you're playing with the money, the house money. And hey, what's your logic behind your multi before you get into it? Are your possessions multiple games? Are you one game? Are you 0-1? What are you thinking?
So what I've decided to do this week is just go a Saturday super multi. So I've taken 2 legs from every game, which is going to be on the Saturday. And I threw Friday night in there as well, just because I wanted a bit of fun tonight. So when it comes down to it, this is mostly a Saturday super multi with Friday night in there, just for good measure, just for the extra spice.
Yeah,
so this is a 10-legger, my friend. And I'm just going to throw it out there to you right now, just so you know that this is a little bit out of the gate. We're going for 32.64 odds with a bet boost.
Mate, you always give me curry for sending you these ones on a Saturday across 8 games with 30 legs, but I'm glad to see you've got on board.
And if this gets up, it's our comeback in a nutshell right there, mate. I want to see it happen. So, of course, we've got the Collingwood North Melbourne game tonight. 2 legs in this. Nick Dacos, on your logic, 30 plus. No one's going to tag that man. And Ed Allen, 15 plus. Now, he's been going 20 plus most weeks. He does do a bit of tagging, Ed, so I reckon he may go with Sheasel at some point. But we shall keep him in the game.
Yeah, but niche, man. I like it.
Niche, yep. So we've got Dacos and Allen, St Kilda Port on the Saturday morning. Nass, 1 goal. He's done it about 5 or 6 weeks in a row now. And if you look at his history, it's just a picket fence. He doesn't kick 2, he kicks 1. So we've got him in there. Zach Butters for 25 plus. He's going 30 plus most weeks at the moment.
No problem at all.
No probs there. All right, game 3, GWS Giants and the Cats. Holmes 25 plus. You never really even worry about that. He does it every week. And the same with Finn Callaghan. So 25 plus each for those boys. Carlton Hawthorn. Carlton are now, 7 wins in a row now?
I can't believe it, yeah. They're
7 in a row.
They're up for a wildcard spot the way they're going. I can't believe it. Yep.
They are. At the start of the season, I wouldn't have believed you if you told me the Carlton or North could be playing finals this year. I've gone with George Hewitt, 1 goal plus. He's doing it every week at the moment. A lot of the time, multiples. And John Newcomb, 25 plus. And then you've got the Crows Gold Coast game on Saturday night. Dawson, 95 plus fantasy points. I'm a bit of a fan of the fantasy points bets now, Nick. They've been coming up the goods for me.
Oh, gosh.
especially for those players that get disposals and kick goals, because if they have a low disposal night, they can kick a couple of goals and still get the fantasy points. So I like it. It's almost like a double dip.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Keys 1 goal with that. So to go over again, 32.64 odds. We've got Dacos 30 plus, Ed Allen 15 plus, Nass 1 goal, Butters 25 plus, Max Holmes and Finn Callahan both 25 plus, George Stewart 1 goal plus, John Newcomb 25 disposals plus, and Jordan Dawson 95 plus fantasy points, and Ben Keys 1 goal plus. There you go.
Look, mate, I like it, and there's nothing in there that sort of pricked the eyebrows and thought that looks a bit shady. But where can the punters that are listening to today's potty go and find that one? We'll put it up on the Insta page. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we'll get it up on the Insta page there, mate.
Yep.
So both of our multis will be there and ready to roll, which is brilliant, mate. So good luck with your betting this weekend. I hope you get up.
Thanks, mate. Well, I'll be all feast or famine tonight, really. I'll be playing with the house money, or I'll be eating 2-minute noodles until payday next Thursday.
Well, my plan on this, mate, because I've got 4 Saturday games and then the 1 Friday, if my Friday doesn't come through for some reason, I'm just going to parlay the rest of those legs into an 8-legger on Saturday. So Friday's all win for me.
Well, you're mad not to, mate. And I think if you get through tonight, it's just going to be a bit more exciting in the morning when you wake up and you've got a few legs still remaining. Before you go, there was one thing I came across last night in the commentary I wanted to share with you.
Yep.
The other cocks came in over the clue. Gee, there's a lot of cocks out there tonight.
That was fantastic. Dean, Mason Cox obviously going around on the same night, and Brennan Cox in the background, so in the back line. So I thought that was good from BT. Quite enjoyed it.
Hey, mate, quickly, I've got a story for you around BT. So yesterday, I went to a thing called Inside the Game. This was hosted by Channel 7.
I saw this on your Insta, mate. Yep.
Yeah, really good. So basically what happened was, because the game was at Optus Stadium Thursday night, the A-grade commentary team came across, being a 1 versus 2 game as well. So Channel 7 actually did a special lunch where they had all the commentators there. They're up on stage and they gave some insights into actually getting behind the game, like what it takes to prepare to commentate a game, how it is in the box during. And it was really insightful. BT shared this really good story, though, and look, I would say that there's probably a little bit of don't let the truth get in the way of a good story here, but if not, it's quite funny from a punting perspective. So I'm not going to do the story justice, but I'll give you a roundabout. So back in 1981, I believe it was, BT was on 99 goals for the season. He was playing in the last game, and he needed 1 goal to kick 100, obviously, and he was going to be the 4th ever Collingwood support player to kick 100 goals. So he got out there, first quarter, he's playing on Danny Frawley, clunks a mark in front of goal. As he's clunking the mark, does his hammy or his quad, something like that. Does himself an injury anyway, so which is going to affect his kicking. Goes back, has a shot at goal, misses it. It's out of bounds on the full. But he knows he's in a bit of trouble. They go into quarter time. Lee Matthews, who is a bit of a hard nut, obviously, basically says you're out of the game. BT says, no, I need to kick this last goal. It's a bit selfish, but come on, 100 goals. Doesn't happen every day. So they let him go back on the field. And as he's walking out, umpire Peter Cameron, who was the brother-in-law of David Cloke, the vice-captain of Collingwood, just sneakily in his ear said, don't worry, mate, I got you covered. And so, dead set. So we're going into the second quarter. BT's up at full forward, playing on Danny Frawley. There's a free kick paid down the field, and then it's paid downfield to BT. Wow. So BT's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
And anyway, he gets this shot at goal. He's right in front. Quaddy saw, sprays it, kicks a point, doesn't get his 100. And BT's like, oh shit, Lee Matthews is going to pull me here. I'm in a bit of trouble. I need to delay. So he waits about 2 minutes on the field still. Same thing happens again. There's a free kick paid up the field. It's paid downfield. BT gets his shot at goal. So anyway, he goes back. He's not too far out. He's right in front. Bang, kicks the goal, kicks his 100. The whole field, the whole crowd runs out, does the whole fucking thing that they always do back in the day. And it was amazing. He's kicked his 100th goal. He's won the Coleman medal. Unbelievable. So at the end of the game, BT's been off since then. He goes up to umpire Peter Cameron and he goes, "Oh, mate, what's the go? You haven't paid me a free kick all year. You've paid me 2 and you've got me over 100 goals. Why?" And apparently Peter Cameron goes to him, "Well, start of the season, I had you on at 80-1 to kick 100 goals and win the Coleman medal."
Yeah.
So there we go. Peter Cameron goes home happy. BT wins his Coleman, kicks 100 goals, and he qualified it with "These things don't happen anymore."
That is sensational. Well, I mean, to be honest, Robbie, forget about the insider trading aspect of it. I mean, it's just when Favola was going for his 100 and they loaded 5 loose backmen on him, it just lost the spirit of the game, I think, mate. We want to see the hundreds kicks, don't we?
100%. Clarko was a bit of a dog that day, I must say, for Hawthorn, especially when Buddy's trying to kick 100 at the other end too.
It was bullshit, wasn't it, mate? Favola's still filthy about that, and I'd be too, mate. He was getting free kicks paid against him, I think, at one point. They didn't want him to kick the 100, but no, that's sensational from BT. Always enjoy his jovial nature during the broadcast, and he was pretty good on last night with the old Cox comment, mate.
It was brilliant. I love that, and I love that you've just pulled that off your phone as well.
Yeah, it's doing the rounds, mate, this morning. Well, next week, obviously, I think we'll look through our early season predictions, mate. We've been talking about the Brownlow, Coleman, Rising Star market predictions we put out earlier in the year. Back to a full episode of the Punt Pals Podcast. Many multis across the weekend. Heroes of the week. All your favourite segments, mate. Can't wait to rip into it.
100%. Love it. Just before we let you go as well, what's happening at Belmont this weekend? What's the main races?
We've got the Beaufine Stakes on Saturday, so another sort of 1,400 metre race, so another sprinting clash. But there are some pretty good horses starting to come back into work now. Obviously, the Pinnacles is not that far away, so a few of these 2- and 3-year-olds, it pays to kind of watch them go around in these feature races. If they run a top 3 position, second, third start, you can kind of get some pretty big futures sort of odds for these horses running later on in the year. So always keep a key on it, and also just the footy on as well, mate, down there on the big screen. You can kind of have the best of both worlds, sort of an AFL same-game multi into a couple of horses running a place. What more do you want as a punter, really?
Love that from you, mate. No, it's going to be really good. We are due to have another Saturday down there in the next few weeks, I think.
Yes.
Mate, just say the word and we'll get it done.
Yeah, get the babysitter locked in this time and we'll absolutely launch, mate.
Oh, crap. We might not be back home in time
Sorry,
for podcast recording on Wednesday. Uh-oh.
Or we'll do it with under the influence and make it even more entertaining, mate.
Love that from you. All right, mate. Well, that's us done for this week. Very well done. Good stuff. It's good to be back, and we'll be back to regular programming on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, smart. No, thanks for organising it. Always good to be back. And thanks everyone for listening. Get us on Spotify and all the main channels you listen to your podcast. And obviously follow us on Instagram when those tips go up, Robbie, because you've got an absolute perler. 32-1 on the weekend across a full Saturday of footy, including tonight's game as well. So there's still time to get your bets on. So make sure you get on there nice and early.
Love your work. Happy punting.
See ya.
The game begins. Betting on sports with our expert spins. From football fields to courtside drills. Punt Pals Podcast, we pay the bills. Punt Pals, no bid and play. Join us now every sports day. Tips and pins that never fail. Punt Pals Podcast, set yourself.
Very well done to you. You've made it through another episode of Punt Pals Podcast. Thanks for your support once again.
If you could follow us on the socials, that'd be super. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, we're everywhere, and we're always the first port to call for all your tips and mail for the weekend's racing and sports.
Also, get around us on streaming platforms, subscribing to the pod, and also giving us some good reviews. It doesn't actually even take 30 seconds. It's very easy to do, so please do it. Subscribe.
Get around us, and we'll, of course, catch you again next week on Punt Pals Podcast. Same time and place. Good luck on the punt.